This is the plaintiff, Tyrick Couch. He says he was walking his dog when out of the blue the defendant's pit bull stuck his head under the fence and snatched his little dog, killing him instantly. He's horrified to this day by the savage, violent attack. The defendant didn't even apologize. He's harboring a vicious wild animal, and he's here suing for $10,000 for his dog and all his expenses and pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Mario Daggett. He says the gap under his fence is way too small for his dog's head to get under it, and it was the plaintiff's little dog who got away from his owner and onto his property. His dog was just protecting his turf. The plaintiff's little dog was the aggressor. He picked a fight with the wrong dog, and all of this is the plaintiff's fault because he lost control of his dog. He's accused of having a mean dog.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant's pit bull attacked and killed his tiny dog. But the defendant says the plaintiff's dog entered his property and the pit was just protecting his turf. It's the case of another pit bull attack.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Tyrick Crouch?
Yes.
You are suing Mario Daggett for $10,000 that you say he owes you in pain and suffering, plus the cost of your dog, because according to you, your dog was killed because of his negligence. Tell me what happened.
Okay, if I can remember, it was November 3rd. It was around like morning, somewhere around afternoon time, around 12 o'clock. I was walking my dog. It was a great day. And as I was walking my dog, he usually does his normal running around. So he like sniffs, just finds like his territory is marked. And I guess it was by his pole.
How long had you had the dog?
No longer than 2 weeks.
And what kind of dog?
It was a terrier, a very nice terrier named Bel Air.
And how much did you pay for the dog?
I paid no more than about almost $200 for the dog. It was a rescue dog from a shelter in Santa Monica.
So why are you suing for $2,000 amount spent money on the dog?
Due to all of the clothes, all of the dog food, medication, and sorts of other things. I paid for shots. He had cataracts.
Okay. All right, so what happened?
So as I was walking my dog, he was sniffing the territory by where he lives, Mario Daggett's house, and he found a spot. I guess he wanted to dispose his urine. And after he disposes his urine, he usually like shakes off and like scratches his feet, his paws. And as he's walking, his pit bull goes from underneath the gate when my dog walks by, snatches his neck, drugs him underneath the gate. And to make this clear, that dog has got loose a few times through the neighborhood, has chased multiple people in the community.
How do you know what you're saying?
Because I've seen it myself happen.
How far do you live from Mr. Daggett?
Not far at all. I stayed 3 houses down from him.
Okay. So according to you, you've seen the pit bull loose in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Did you ever call the police when you saw the pit bull loose?
No, but a neighbor called the police, and they chased some kid.
Do you have a record of that?
No, I don't have a record of that at this moment.
Do you have any proof that the dog has been loose before?
No, not as of right now.
Okay. Well, now would be the time.
Yeah,
This
I
is
know,
what we
of
call
course.
a trial.
Yeah,
But, all right. So according to you, you're walking by Mr. Daggett's house.
Yes.
And there's a fence.
Yes.
Does anybody have a picture of the fence?
Yes, I do.
May I see it?
Yes.
And Mr. Daggett's pit bull reaches his head under the fence and drags your dog in.
Pulls him by his neck.
Okay, so how big was your dog? Can you show me with your hands?
About this big, very small dog.
And how big this way? Like how?
Just about this big, not big enough.
My dog can't even fit.
Just a moment. There's no question pending for you.
So, again, we've talked about it before. Are pit bulls unusually aggressive, or is it the owner?
No, they're not usually aggressive. It's usually the owner is not training them properly.
But if that's the case, how is it that there are so many owners of dogs that are irresponsible and yet gravitate to pit bulls?
Doesn't make any sense, Harvey.
So is it the owner or the dog?
I say it's the owner.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Was your dog on a leash?
Yes, I had him on a leash.
You see there's no leash on the dog there.
When you see what's happening, why don't you pull on the leash?
I was pulling on the leash, but by that time the dog locked jaw onto my dog's neck, and I guess snapped his neck at that time.
But I guess I'm trying to figure out if I'm walking my little dog and close enough to the gate where the pit bull is contained.
Yes.
And there's no, is the gate opaque or is it?
I believe he built some
just a minute. So it's it's opaque here. It's got like a net or something, so I can't see it.
That's steel, yeah.
It's steel.
Yes.
And so it's this part down here with the spikes that...
My dog's head can't fit through that. You can clearly see.
So were you there when this happened?
I was at work. My fiance was there.
Do you have an affidavit from her?
No. Well, from the police report.
You're looking at a business card. I
Yeah,
want
well, it's
her
from
words.
the-
Are her words anywhere? Was there a police
Yes,
report?
there's words.
Yeah. No, don't give me a card. I'm not going
It's the back
to
of
do
the
your
card
work for
from the
you.
police.
What?
It's from the
Oh,
from
there's
the police.
words in the back of the car. I've
Yes.
never seen that in my life.
It's from the police.
Verbal dispute regarding dead dog. Dog entered property under gate and was involved in a fight with dog at property. Dog died. We exchanged info for both dog owners and kept the peace. How do you first learn that something went wrong?
My fiance called me hysterically crying that there was a neighbor that came by and his dog got in our yard, and they got his dog and our dog got into a fight. Our dog killed his dog, and he was threatening.
And according to her, the whole thing happened in your yard.
Yes. Yes.
And the dog owner was upset and was threatening.
He was threatening to come back and shoot our dog and shoot us if we got in the way.
And then what happened?
So then I got him. I left work immediately and came to the house, and I pulled up and I asked him. I said, "So you're threatening my family?" And he ran off and said, "I'm gonna go grab my gun. I got something for you." I said, "Okay, cool." And I called the police, sent over a unit, and they diffused the situation.
Was he still there, or did he come back?
He came back. He finally came back and grabbed his dog.
Because the dog was still there?
Was still in my yard, yes.
Okay, is this picture taken inside of your yard?
Yes.
Where's the leash?
I removed the leash when the
How could you remove the
officers-
leash if the dog is on the inside of the yard?
No, once the officers arrived, they opened the gate, and I removed the leash from
Except
the
for the
dog.
gate is closed in this picture because he took the picture before you removed the dog. There is no leash.
I had a leash on my
And the
dog.
police got
Okay,
there.
I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
There is no leash
No,
here.
I understand that.
So I expect if your dog got away from you through the strength of a pit bull, okay, that the dog and the leash goes on the other side. There's no leash here.
Well,
so explain that.
So I walk up towards the gate. His wife comes outside. She doesn't give me any explanation. She's like, "Oh, you have a dead dog." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I leave. And I come back, she opens the gate, she's like, "Well, pick up your dog." I'm like, "I'm gonna call animal control. I'm not gonna just pick up my dog. He's a dead dog. I never dealt with a situation like that before. It's my first animal." So I remove the leash from his neck, I leave, and
Why?
then I
Why do
call.
you remove the leash?
Because I call animal control.
Why would you remove the leash?
'Cause she
Tell
told
me
me to
what
pick-
calling animal control has to do with removing the leash.
She just explained to me to pick up your dog.
Sometimes
I
if
said
it
I'm not
walks
gonna
like a
pick up
duck
my
and it
dog.
quacks like a duck, it's a duck. You know?
Not
And that's
necessarily.
what these folks are saying because that big old pit bull's head
Yes.
doesn't fit underneath the thing.
Actually, it does.
Okay?
And-
No, a little bit of it might fit, but at what point? See, here's the thing. Your dog is, I'm so sorry about the loss of your
No,
dog.
I
Please don't think
understand
I'm being
that.
insensitive.
No, I
but
understand
I
that.
am in a situation here where you're asking me to order him to pay you 10 grand because he did something wrong. He's got a pit bull. If you're gonna own a pit bull, for the love of God, don't expose your pit bull to everybody else.
Yeah.
You're painting him out to be a bad dog owner that the dog's gotten out. Do you have any evidence of that? Zero. All right, and has your dog gotten out?
No.
But aside from that, I have a gate, a massive gate, not a gate with a hole in it,
He
with
built that because it got
sand,
loose.
I'm sorry?
He built that gate like that for a reason because the dog
Yes,
got
he
loose.
did. He
Several
did.
times.
He built that gate for a reason. And that's what I expect of him as a good and responsible citizen dog owner. I expect him to build the gate to keep his big pit bull
Vicious.
away from me. See? But when he does what he needs to do, I need the rest of America to do what they need to do. You see? If he's keeping his dog in, I say everybody else has to keep their dog out. And there's a simple way to do that. If your dog is on a leash, your dog isn't going to get under. That's what's going to happen. But based on what I am listening to, I am not ordering the defendant to pay you a penny. Because the evidence in this case does not justify that he did something wrong. He penned his dog in. Your dog either got in because you're walking too close to where the dog's snout can come out, and even that would be your responsibility, or your dog got in because it wasn't on a leash, which this picture makes me think is in fact the case. Okay? And when that is the case, then he is not the person to blame. He's not.
definitely the person
My
to
verdict in this
blame.
case is for the defendant.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff fails to prove his case. I'm sure every dog owner watching can sympathize with you. There must have been a horrible experience to have gone through.
Yes.
But, you know, the judge just doesn't believe you had the dog on a leash. And if you did have, my God, you shouldn't have gotten that close. You should have yanked the dog away. Why didn't you?
Well, I did put my dog away. My dog was an innocent dog, great dog in the neighborhood. His dog is vicious. It's been loose several times. Unfortunately, I'm having all documentations to prove that his dog is a vicious dog at the time.
If you'd had evidence, it would have helped you. But unfortunately, you needed evidence, okay? Sorry you didn't have that. Sorry for you.
Thank you.
You must sign a few documents outside. The defendant's on his way out of the courtroom. You know, the judge thinks you've done the right thing by building that fence, but he still claims your dog's gotten loose several times, has he?
The last 3 years that I've lived there, I've never had any problems.
Really?
My dog's never gotten out. He's not a vicious
You
dog.
know, we have so many pit bull cases. You've heard the story about pit bulls.
Yeah. They have a bad rap, and, you know, my dog's sweet. He's a
He is?
sweetheart. Yeah.
All
he's a
right.
sweetheart.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you,
okay,
sir.
thank you very much. All right. Harvey, what do you think?
Doug, how could I forget? You can go to an expert. Is it the owner or the dog?